name is Cynthia. I'm Executive Director of the New Rural Project.
This is how Cynthia Wallace spends many of her weekends.
Oh, right here. Okay.
She throws on a new Rural Project tee and a pair of sneakers. Then she knocks on strangers' doors.
My name is Cynthia. I'm Executive Director of the New Rural Project.
This is how Cynthia Wallace spends many of her weekends.
Oh, right here. Okay.
She throws on a new Rural Project tee and a pair of sneakers. Then she knocks on strangers' doors or meets them on the street and listens.
Did you get a chance to vote?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you are a strong voter?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you able to vote last year?
No, I didn't vote last year.
Okay. Well, that's what we're here talking about.
Oh, okay.
It may sound like a simple act, but for Black residents in rural Anson County, North Carolina, this kind of visit from a civic group is rare.
You got a little pocket in there? I'm just piling you up.
In recent years, voter participation has been slipping. Jobs have gone. Many residents feel like nobody cares about what they have to say.
What do you worry about every day?
Violence, poverty, just things that can be improved.
National Democrats have raised alarms about support slipping in rural America over the last 2 decades, where Donald Trump won roughly 2/3 of the rural vote. Here in Anson, 2,500 voters of color sat out the last election, as a state Supreme Court seat was decided by 401 votes out of 5 million cast. To Cynthia, the disconnect isn't rocket science. Few do what her team does in the rural South. Even worse, they sometimes forget Black people live there. Do you feel like you've seen the changes that you deserve here?
You know, in Anson County, those young men, Black men under 40, turned out at 35% in the 2020 general election. And so actually having a chance to have conversation with them, and the fact that they really seem to feel, kind of validated to be heard.
Even the church, traditionally the beating heart of Black politics and optimism, is losing some ground.
It's time to rally the troops. COVID has spread us every which way. We can't always keep up with whether people coming or going. You gotta take.
Pastor Alban Burney saw the pandemic frighten and diminish his congregation. Young faces often aren't out in the pews.
Here in Anson County, I think survival is on everyone's mind.
Are people losing faith?
I think people are losing faith. I think that's just the reality of the situation. When you feel like something was taken from you, it's real easy to lose faith in a process that was established.
We spent a day at a popular Black-owned convenience shop in Morven, a town in Anson that is almost 100% Black, hanging out with entrepreneurs, nurses, and veterans.
I don't believe in the government too much.
Do you feel like the Democratic Party has done much for Black people in the last couple years?
Taking us down through there, it's about it, taking all our shit. Like the rest of them, they ain't gonna do nothing for us.
All right. Well, you have it there.
There you go. What's up? How you? Good.
What's made you feel like voting isn't worth it?
For you to sit there and you see your elders say something to the town hall or something like that and nothing's being done about it, after a while it just becomes a non-factor in your life. You just feel like, I'm gonna just do what I gotta do, survive on a day-to-day, make a way for my family and everything like that. Politics don't really matter.
Has Biden and generally the Democratic Party, have they fulfilled promises that they've made over the last couple of years?
To me, in a small town like this, it really doesn't matter who you have in office. The effect that we experience is the same. It don't matter if it's Biden, it don't matter if it's Trump, it don't matter if it's Obama or Clinton or Bush. It really doesn't matter. What we feel down here is exactly the same. They could never even tell us who the president is, and we really still going to be exactly the same. You know what I mean?
Cynthia Wallace and Pastor Alban Burney aren't going to wait for any national politicians to come to rural North Carolina. Whether on the pavement or at the pulpit, every weekend they'll listen.
Glad to see you.
Do people still believe things can change here?
I think they want to believe that. I think it's up to me. I think it's up to other advocates to inspire that change.